Welcome back to Undefining the podcast, where we get real about identity, creativity, and the stories that shape us. Each week, I talk with artists, visionaries, and truth tellers who are actively breaking molds and creating spaces for something new. I'm your host, Glow Butler, and today's episode is all about redefining what it means to hustle, create, and take up space with purpose. Check it out. Today, I'm joined by someone who truly embodies the spirit of carving their own lane and bringing others along with them. Hailing from PG County, Maryland, and now repping Los Angeles or LA, why am I being so proper right now? Ebony Toliver is a comedian, producer, and founder of Like That Productions, a platform amplifying underrepresented voices, especially in the LGBTQ plus community. She's the creator of LezBHonest, a comedy brand highlighting Black lesbian comedians and the richness of queer storytelling. Ebony also works behind the scenes in the animation production world, and she's out here making power moves both on stage and off. I'm excited to have Ebony here today. Ebony, how are you doing?
Hey, good morning. Good morning. I'm good.
It is morning. You're in LA, so it's 2:30 and it's almost 2:45 in the afternoon in New York. So
it's 11:45. It should not be morning for me, but it is. It is. Ain't hit noon yet.
Are you an early bird?
No, absolutely not. Here's the thing. I have to set an alarm. If I don't, I will not wake up. So I'm not going to rise early on my own.
Okay.
I got to have that alarm, and I'm going to snooze it a few times. But if I don't have an alarm, it's like, see you on Tuesday, bro. I just not. I'm asleep. Man. I sleep hard.
I envy people like that because I can't just sleep. I wake up in between stuff. I'll get disrupted. Anything will wake me up. So I don't know how.
Even in your sleep, you one of the people that you wake up to go pee, and you wake up if you hear something. That's your type of sleep.
I wake. I'm in REM sleep for probably 30 minutes max.
I don't even know the math on that. I don't even know what that is.
It don't even matter.
I'm gonna have to do a sleep test or something. I don't know about any of that. I just be knocked out.
Do you sleep with do you track your sleep? You don't have the watch?
No.
Apple?
I take my watch off at night. I'm naked. I'm naked with socks on. I'm just naked with socks on.
So you keep the sock. Okay, so you one of them. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
There's a special type of there's a whole thing debate. We would be here forever if we talked about it. But there's a whole thing with sock sleepers. I gotta wiggle my toes and do shit. It's you can't.
No, I like my feet protected.
Everything else can be exposed.
Everything else wild and loose.
With
Them
your
feet.
toes
Nah.
That is hilarious. That is so funny to me. I don't know why. That is so funny. It's when you learn things about this to people, it make you look at people differently a little bit. Not in a bad way, but I'm just
You
saying,
judging.
I promise
you judge it.
I promise you I'm not. Y'all, we got stuff we want to get into with Ebony today.
True.
I do. True. It's only me and you on here. I'm talking to the audience they're in here right now. But so I want to start out by just going from the beginning, from when you were very young. So what was little Ebony like? What were you this creative little thing that just was
No.
I feel like you had high energy or something.
No.
I don't know why I'm thinking that right now.
Absolutely not.
No, okay.
No. There's this story my aunt tells me all the time, excuse me, about how when I was young, I was super quiet and shy and stuff. So when all the cousins were around and say she wanted to go to the store, she was like, I'm gonna take Ebony with me because Ebony chilling, Ebony quiet, Ebony, you know what I'm saying? So I was super shy, super quiet, younger, and then something happened and I took off. But no, I was not this wild, rambunctious, energetic kid. I was just quiet and shy until I found what brought the light out of me. So yeah. Now I started out shy.
But you know what? I always find that people. That's why I almost like dating the quiet people because it's their brain is filled with so much stuff. I feel like you have did you have were you that kid that just had an imagination, or you just thought things? You just
I had an imaginary friend. I had me an imaginary friend. So yeah, I asked my mom. I said, "Yo, what was my imaginary?" I forgot that bad name. My mom was like, "Yeah, you definitely had an imaginary friend growing up." I remember. I forgot, but I definitely had an imaginary friend. So me and my homie was doing whatever adventures and talking we was doing, but I
Yeah.
wasn't talking to people.
Yeah,
But me and my
yeah.
imaginary friend was hitting the streets.
Y'all do. That is too funny. It's like, nah, Ebony over there by herself. No, she not.
No, she
She with
not.
that
No,
friend.
she not.
And I believe that kids really do. Like, these are real. Like, it might be like I might get a little too deep with this, but like, it may be like an old spirit of like some kid or whatever, like that. Like like Casper. That's kind of what that makes
Oh,
me think
right.
of with like maybe y'all like because I really do think kids and dogs like and babies they see stuff we don't
That
see as
nobody else
adults.
see.
So maybe that was like a thing. I don't like maybe it was just the energy. This is getting too deep for me, Ebony. Sorry, I'm trying to
It's
dig
fine.
into
But
like.
yeah, so as a kid, no, I was shy with an imaginary friend.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like most kids who were shy had that. Like, I feel like any other kid would be too loud and just telling everybody the
The
friends like
business.
the magic.
Just too
Yeah,
much
all the
business.
business. Be like,
Just
see, that's why we can't be friends. Your first friendship breakup. All right. When it comes to creators, and you do multiple things, not even multiple things. You do it all in my mind. The first question is like, how did you undefine the hustle, and then when was that period when you felt like you were what I mean, like you're actually attaching yourself to that definition of hustle that you feel.
right.
Yeah.
Wow. I would say honestly, I had to undefine hustle or maybe redefine. I'm gonna do undefined,
Redefine, you
but
can do redefine, yeah.
was around I was gonna say around the pandemic, honestly,
Okay.
because I was doing stand up
Hmm.
from like 2014, doing stand up, right? And then 2018 starting LezBHonest. And so I'm
Hmm.
like, stand up is like I'm thinking boom, 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 I done found my lane, we out here.
Yeah.
And then pandemic came and
Yeah.
everything they shut all that shit down. It
It
was
was
no
yeah.
we was doing this, baby. We was zooming on doing
Online.
Zoom
Hmm.
stand up.
Yep.
So I feel like around the pandemic I had to undefine my hustle as a comedian and a producer to redefine how I wanted to show up in the industry.
Ooh,
So
okay.
I I I mean even right now people tie me still to like stand up. They're like, oh yeah,
Hmm.
when your next show, when your next show,
Hmm.
and I'd be like, oh yeah, I got shows, but not as frequent as it used to
Right.
be because
Slow down a
I
lot.
took a
Hmm.
huge pivot
Hmm.
during the pandemic. So I undefined the one hustle I was doing.
Yeah.
And then now I got multi hyphenate. Now I'm doing, like I said, animation,
Yeah.
and I'm working with on some short films and a one woman show with like a lot of my comedian friends. I'm like, well, now I'm just
So
putting on my producer hat
yeah.
and trying to figure out, well, how can we get everybody's project off the ground? How can I support you? So
Right.
I undefined myself as a comedian only
Hmm.
to do the hustle of producer,
Oh,
business
that's
owner,
dope.
entrepreneur, all the things. So I mean, honestly, I think the pandemic was a catalyst for me to undefine one hustle,
Yeah.
and then I got more hustles. Like
Yeah.
I went from like a one lane to now I got like four lanes.
That's what comedy does to you, because comedy, to be honest, let's be
Yeah,
honest.
let's be honest,
I was gonna be puns all day, but
all day.
I feel like that's what comedy does to you, because we walk into stand up comedy and we immediately think that, yeah, we're gonna be this comedian, da 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 da, traveling, all this other stuff, but then it opens up other like opportunities, and you are
So
able, like,
many,
you're more curious of, it's like different layers that you're just like peeling
absolutely,
off to get to,
absolutely.
that's
Because I don't. I
yeah.
was going to ask. This ain't even. I don't know if this is the kind of a two-way
Yeah,
conversation with it, but
we
like,
can just right.
so for me, I was performing stand up only. Just being,
Mm-hmm.
I would go up there, do my time. That was
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
But from your experience, like say you're being booked on the show, right? You do your set, and then the rest of the show is like, who the hell are these comics? Like I got my
Mm-hmm.
friends coming out to see me. The
And they
rest
don't
of the
know
show
anybody
is
else.
like, what?
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I
Mm-hmm.
went from comedian to producer because I wanted to have a better show experience.
Yeah.
Like if I'm
Yeah.
bringing out my people to see me, and then the rest
Mm-hmm.
of the lineup is like I ain't gonna say like weird,
Right.
like different type of comedians. I'm like my friend's not having a good time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now it was
They
like I
got you
have to
as
now
they got you as a token on there for a reason.
the
You're checking off all the boxes. That's why. But anyway,
baby black woman gay.
all
Put
of
her
it.
on the
All
show.
of it. All of
And
it.
then it's a rack and then it's everybody else is like, what? So then I put on the producer hat that was like, okay, well now I want to curate an experience for people who are coming to see me to see more people like me, or just, you know what I'm saying? And so I don't
Right.
know if
No,
that
of
was
course.
how you got Glow in the City. Like you went from being a comedian to
Yep.
like, nah, I got to
Yep.
do my own show.
Yep, yep, and that's the part is yeah. It was one of those things. And you're how you kind of discover like the production world is kind of exactly what happened to me because I was like I'm tired of like it being just these number. I'm tired of the randomness. I'm tired of like
Yeah.
also the politics behind it drove me nuts because like
Work.
it was so many people like almost making it like you had to kiss their ass just to like get on some
The
basic show, you
gatekeepers. It
know?
ain't even
Yeah, and the
gatekeepers. They just,
gatekeep they just
I don't even,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
It's you know what I mean. So like it's same world, and I actually ended up taking a step back from producing because of it was the bookings and the stuff had gotten like so slow, and everybody started to only see me as like a producer, and I had like musicians and all these people hit me up, and I was just like, I didn't really want
Ah,
it this way. You know, I was just like, I get it because honestly, to have
right.
a production company, you have to be a little bit, you got to be open to all the opportunities because there's not just comedians that are going to be hitting you up. And not just that, but you deal with, at the end of the day, even when you're dealing with comedy, you're dealing with music. You're dealing with,
Yes.
like, you might have artists that are not, like, you might do drag, you might do, like, burlesque or something with your show, and you want to be able to learn more of how to book those other,
Absolutely.
whatever.
Absolutely.
So, yes, that's the way I discovered it, just like you. It's just kind of like,
Gotcha.
all right, I don't like the people I know coming out to just this random stuff because once they see you perform, they're like,
They like,
why do we need to be here? Because it's just gonna
guess it's
be
time to
you.
go. Wrap it up. You know? Then the
Exactly.
whole audience lead a show and it's like, what? And
Yeah.
then here's the thing, I don't know if you ever experienced that. If the
Hmm.
bookers see that, they be like, all right, well, you're gonna go last then.
Yeah. Yeah.
And had your people sit through all of that, then to finally see you. And I'm like, see, nope, the politics, I got to do my own show. I
That's
can't do this. This is
yeah.
crazy.
Exactly.
It's
That's
crazy.
exactly what they do. I mean, I've done that before when I booked a show, and I'm just like, yo, they keep their friends.
You ain't right.
It was. Well, I only did that. Well, number one because it was a Saturday show, and I was just Saturday night. People were just kind of like, yeah, we're chilling. You know what I mean? But
Right.
I knew that as after their friends, they kind of like lose interest and stuff. And it's does not the fact that, and that's also, that also made me smarter about how you book. You know what I mean? Because you do want people to also see that there are other people in lineup. Also show people's faces on flyers and stuff like
Show
that. Like a lot of
faces on the
comedians do.
flyer.
You know what I mean? So people can be like, all right, maybe I want to look this person up or like see their comedy. So it's like a lot, we can't control what other producers are going to do with their show. But
Right.
I would just say I wouldn't do it that way.
I would do it a different way. I'm gonna do it my way. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, so it is what it's a learning game, and I think everything, definitely as you go on with every opportunity is definitely, I'm sure, a learning experience for you, no matter how long you've been doing it.
So
You're
many, so
still,
many lessons. So many
yeah,
lessons. My goodness.
yeah.
Hell
Have you
yeah.
had
Hell yeah.
anything where have you had a moment where you're just like, yeah, I don't think I want to collaborate with this person? And you have to name the names and like that because I don't want
Hey,
to.
I ain't go. Hey, Glow. I can't do this.
Am I bringing up the tea? I like a little
You,
tea in
you,
the.
you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna leave it here. Remember the show, the
What's up?
LezBHonest show I did with you in New York,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That was a good show.
2019.
Hmm.
That I've never collaborating with them again.
Yeah,
But so
it was.
I ain't gonna drop no names,
It's
never. But like, I
yeah.
could
You
just say I'm glad I got to work with you, and we had
yeah. No,
LezBHonest New
I know
York.
that's
But
how.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It.
I'm good.
And trust me, I get that. There's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes because I've had stuff pop up, and I was
Yeah.
like, whoa, because I actually had somebody who hired me as a host, and then as like she wanted to always go over the run of the show, but she wanted like 2 hour meetings like 3 times a week, and I was like, I'm just hosting, you know what I mean?
I'm just
It was, and it was, I don't mind going over stuff, but it was one of those. She came down to it. She's like, "You're not being professional. I sent you." It was weird. Like it was like she was, and I was taking a small amount from her, and I was like, "For what you want me to do, it's not
Nope.
paying enough." And I'm not trying to
Yeah.
be like snobby and stuff like that, but you're not paying me enough. Like it was
To be on
basically
2 hour meetings.
to be on 2 hour meetings like 3 times a week. And not just that, but I'm not producing, I'm hosting. There's a difference.
Yes.
People forget that when you're hiring a
100%.
host, you know what I mean? It's not the same
Let them
thing. I'm
host.
not, you know what I mean? Producer, and
Exactly.
also producing comes with why
Why are we here?
producing and hosting have two separate fees. All right, when you have hired, say you hire Ebony as a producer, you hire Ebony as a host. You need to pay for the producing fee, and you need to pay and a
Thank
host
you.
fee,
Thank
or
you.
like take a bundle package and to negotiate something.
Say it again for the
But
people in the back.
you know what I said? I said you gonna take.
Yes.
Man, I'm telling you, because like I think people get it twisted, and it's different. I'm sure you may make an exception or may do certain special, special treat or something different that you wouldn't normally do for somebody
sure.
in the community. You know what I
Right.
mean? If it's like that, but like it's a little frustrating in the production world. So I say kudos to you because you have to have a lot of patience for that, and
Man, I have so much patience, but it's honest, like you said, the math got a math,
it does. Yeah,
okay?
yeah,
But when it comes to collaborations, my thing with the show we did in New York, like I said, the show was fun, it was amazing, it was great.
it's nice.
However, the people who I was partnering with in the show they they were supposed to be New York based, and this is our city, this is
Yeah,
whatever, and I'm just like,
yeah,
why only people here, people that know me? What happened to your New
yeah,
York? I thought this
yeah,
was your city.
yeah,
So the show was a
yeah.
great hit. It went off, you know what I'm saying? Everybody performed, you killed it. But I was just like, it's looking real unattended up in this room.
You want it
So
more out of no, because when you're going into a different city, like you're expanding in a way. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
like when you're going into a different city, you look for the people that you do trust to have their words align with what
Absolutely.
is
Thank
really
you. Let their words
happening.
align. Yes.
you know,
Honor the words. Yeah.
and I'm sure on the other
Yeah.
side of things, both sides just learn lessons in a way, and it's
We
one of those
definitely
things.
learned lessons.
Yeah,
Yes.
because that
Yes.
and not everybody is meant to work with everybody. Just because we're in a community, it's not always meant. But we don't know that once we
We
deal
don't
with it.
know that. You don't
Yeah,
know until you
that's
do it. And it's
unfortunate.
like, cool,
It's like, all right, noted. Let's
cool.
move on.
Noted. Yeah. I'll support you, but I ain't gonna collaborate with you type thing. But like, I started LezBHonest in LA. So I was
hmm
like, cool, but as soon as I went home to DC to do the show, obviously everybody from home showed up. So I was thinking, oh my goodness, I can take this show on the road for real.
Yeah,
New York, link up with somebody in New York, and it wasn't. So I was like, okay, maybe I could pipe down this tour. Maybe I'm thinking I'm ready to tour, and maybe
yeah,
I'm not ready. So let me take my ass back to LA and
yeah,
DC. LA, DC, LA, that's it. Those are the only
yeah.
cities that's gonna see me.
Yeah, LA,
So
because yeah, you have your people in DC for sure out there, and DC has an incredible scene. I think they are. I always call DC like underrated because
absolutely.
I was like I asked where I started doing comedy, and the best place to start to do it and then grow, and then I wanted to leave because it becomes small too at the
Yeah,
same
it's too
time.
small. Yeah,
You
yes,
end up
yes.
traveling to go. You need more than just like a city just to go to. And anytime I got booked in Maryland, it'd be like far out there, and stuff. So I was just like, let me just move to New York and
New
see
York,
what.
New York, where you need to be, yeah, baby. You did
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
You did.
exactly. So do you feel like LA was like the spot to create and open up all the? Do you have any like learning experience, like learning curves or anything that you're just like, hey, maybe I shouldn't have you? Did you have a moment where you're just like, maybe not in LA, maybe I should have started like in Maryland or in DC?
Well,
Um,
absolutely not, because I didn't even do stand up and stuff when I was home.
okay,
So when I was home in Maryland, I was, bro, this person you see now is
yeah,
like my fourth life.
wow,
Like in DC, I was doing consulting. I was
yeah,
like corporate ebony marketing. Like it was a whole, like, girl,
yeah,
the stage ain't seen me until I moved to LA. So I can't even
yeah,
say what it would have been like to start at home,
yeah,
because starting at home was me hosting the
hmm
talent show in high school, hosting the fashion show in college. Like I got
yeah,
a little, once I stopped being shy
yeah,
and I like,
yeah,
blossomed a little bit, I had like hosting gigs
yeah,
at my school. They were like, oh yeah, everybody
oh,
can do that. But I
yeah,
never did stand up at home.
yeah,
I didn't do stand up until I moved to LA. So then when I went back to do that show at home, everybody was like,
hmm
wait, Ebony went from layup to
yeah,
stand up. Like they knew me as like a different person in Maryland.
okay,
So when I was doing stand up, they was like, yo, what is going on? So
yeah,
Glow, I didn't even do stand up or touch a mic until I moved to LA. So I
yeah.
didn't so home didn't even know me as this person.
And was this something that you've always kind of wanted to do, or was it until you moved to LA where you're like, hey, this is? I know because you said you were in the talent show and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
when did you just kind of? Because sometimes we have to sit on like wanting to do stand up and start it,
Right.
and or just putting our foot out there. So What was it about LA that made you like say, "Hey, let me start here"?
Baby, it was all about the exposure.
Okay.
Because growing up in Maryland and like DC, it's all like for your audience members who might not know,
Right.
it's literally like government jobs, like corporate, like it's a
Yeah.
different city, DC, right? And
Yeah.
so I just went to college, got my degree, went to work,
Mhm.
just thinking,
Mhm.
oh, I'm gonna go the right path, the safe path, and just that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then when I moved to LA, I was just like, hold up, wait a minute, you can do this, all this stuff. Wait, it
Mhm.
was basically the exposure to all the other
I love that.
industries, opportunities. I met different people, and so
Mhm.
the catalyst or whatever for me doing stand up was
Yeah.
I was in a kitchen at my friend's house. I think it's a
Mhm.
birthday party, maybe it's some gathering, and I'm just in the kitchen telling them a story about something. And somebody was like, "Yo, you should try stand up." I was like, "Bro, like chill." I'm literally in the kitchen just telling y'all a story about something that
Yeah.
happened to me. They was like, "Nah, you should try stand up. Like you funny as hell naturally."
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Glow, all it was someone saying you should try stand up.
Yeah.
I tried stand up and then I just kept trying stand up. So I didn't like grow
Love
up
that.
watching comics all day and like I didn't
Yeah.
grow like I you know what I'm saying I knew who they were. A
Right.
lot of
Right.
comedians came out of DC. But like
Okay.
I was an athlete. My whole world was like basketball is like ball is life.
Mhm.
So I never thought about stand up for real, bro, until
Yeah.
people was like, "Yo, you funny though. Like you got this something about you. You should try it." They said, "Try
Yeah.
it."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then it's
Just
like, "Okay, here we go."
it's like one of those people are there are people that are like naturally funny and should just be naturally funny. Then there are people are naturally funny. They get to do stand up and they realize like because you have to that's like a new muscle you're opening up. Like you actually
It
have
is.
to plan to be funny. When you're naturally funny, you just tell it you're just a funny like you said you're just a funny person. Like people are gonna laugh and stuff like that. And people immediately I love it when people are just like yeah go do stand up like it's supposed to be that simple. And then you get up
It's
there and you're
not.
like okay. You're
It's
like, so
not.
y'all want to hear this? Because you don't know if like it's just something that your friends are laughing at and stuff like that,
Hmm.
or whatever the case is. So how did family take it? Like, do your parents like just? I know you have a sister. Like, do y'all?
Yeah.
I stalk your stuff. I know you got like
Hey, it's
nieces and
fine. It's fine.
nephews.
Stalk away. Stalk away. Stalk
No,
away.
but yeah, like how did they take it? Did they take it seriously? Did they think that like, or were you just treating it like a hobby and you just kind of like introduce them to that as like a hobby?
It was well received, I would
Okay.
say.
Mm-hmm.
99% of it. So
Okay.
my mom and dad were cool.
Yeah.
They just thought like, cause I'm at this point, I'm talking about them. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm
That's
talking
funny.
about my actual life, my upbringing, my parents,
Mm-hmm.
and everything. So they're
Yeah.
like dying laughing.
That's
There was
funny.
one, I think like some one person didn't like the joke I did about them, but I was like, that's fine.
Yeah.
You're not even whatever. But
Yeah.
overall, everyone was more so just shocked. Like,
Yeah.
wait, you moved to LA and now all of a sudden you're doing stuff. So it was more of a surprise to them,
Yeah.
but they supported it 100%.
I love that.
So they were like, "Oh, where's your next show?" Or like, "When you coming?" Like, so I say I stayed in LA. So when I went to DC, they were waiting
Yeah.
for me to come home. And it was like, "We got to see you at home do the show." And so everybody ate it up, like super
I love
supportive.
that.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Sharing the flyers. So no
Mm-hmm.
one. It was well received,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. And so I was like, great. I got the support. They don't mind me talking shit about them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's keep it
Yeah.
going. So yeah, it was
So
fine.
I love that because it ain't like that for me. Like I would say, there's probably like three family members or four family members like that have actually come, but they've been in the city that
Uh,
I've been in. Like I haven't performed in
okay.
Charleston. I'm originally from Charleston, and so I haven't
You got to
actually.
go home. You got to go down
I
there.
want to so bad, and Atlanta. I want to hit both and just go in on both. But and I have like people that I can talk to da da da. But I just haven't
Yeah.
yet. The opportunity hasn't presented itself, and I kind of like I'm a natural. I want things to just come to me, or just like happen, or
Maybe we
do
gotta
some.
do it. We
We might
got
have
to
to do
figure
something
it
in
out.
Charleston or Atlanta, because I was like they will show up out in Charleston because they don't have comedy like they need to out there, But
Listen, let me write this down. Hold up.
are we manifesting something right
We might be.
now? Hey, I'm down, but I wanted to go into this. This is one thing that that I've noticed based off of my experience and maybe some other queer black comedians, and not just queer black comedians. But do you identify as like lesbian or are you just What is your idea? That's the weirdest question to ask. Because I
No,
don't want to
I'm
like
yeah,
assume
I'm
somebody
lesbian.
is like because I know that I don't have to say that to people out loud, like be like, oh, are you lesbian?
Right.
And then like this way.
Right, right,
But
right.
I only say that basically
Uh-huh.
when it comes to your identity on
Yeah.
stage. And like say like for me, I would say like, hey, I'm black, lesbian, whatever like that. But there been like moments where you just don't feel, not just about like the randomness of the lineups and stuff like that, but did you feel like represented in a lot of the spaces that you performed in, but outside of like what you produce and stuff like that, of course. But
Uh,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, like so here's what I'll say. For one, I do identify as a lesbian. Or I'm
Hmm.
like, yo, I'm just gay. Like, you know, even got to be all that. But
Yeah.
queer is a word. I'm like, queer, I never use the term queer. Like, I just be like, yeah, I'm gay,
Yeah.
bro. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
As far as being, would you say supported in the rooms?
Yeah, like just kind
Moving,
of represented, supported,
rep-
like you felt like there was representation around that maybe somebody that looked like you, that the audience, the whatever, or even the lineup in the lineup. Do you feel like it was just yeah?
nah, bro, I was a token. You know, it was me. But here's the
Okay.
thing that I love. Here's the thing. I love that though, because say
Okay.
they would have whoever going before me or whatever. And first
Yeah.
thing I would say when I come out is, you know, I'm the LGBTQ portion of the show. Like
Yeah.
I would just come out and be like, yeah, y'all done
Oh,
seen
that's
all them
good.
white
Yeah.
boys. Here you go. You know what I'm saying? That's my first line is, hey, welcome to the LGBT, you know, portion of the show type thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I, even if I felt represented or not, first thing I'm gonna say
Uh-huh.
about my mouth is that, like, y'all done seen all that. Now, welcome to the real, you know what I'm saying, type
E-
thing.
e-
Um,
exactly. Now let me
yeah,
talk.
so I never, you know, even though I wasn't like represented in the room or anything, I just made
Yeah.
it. I would stand on it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And one
Yeah.
thing I would say, I don't know if you feel this way. Once again, I'm
Uh-huh.
asking you questions.
No, it's cool.
When you like
It's
when
cool.
I say I'm outside in regular life, right?
Right.
I am black first, right? If you see me, say you see me from a
Absolutely.
distance, you're gonna be like, okay, that's a black person. As I get closer,
That's
they're
who
gonna
I
be like,
am.
oh, okay, that's a woman.
Yep.
Okay, and then you might get, I'm like, oh, she gay as hell. But like, I
Yep.
kind of lead with, I'm black first, then I'm a
Yep.
woman, and then you probably gonna find out, oh yeah, she just happens to be gay.
And that those are the layers that I go by too, because
Yeah,
being gay is something that is a part of your identity. It doesn't make up your entire self.
correct.
You know what I mean? And so you want people to see you as the and anybody. This could be anybody.
Yeah,
Anybody heterosexual. You want to see them for who they are and not for like, oh, who you sleeping with or who you with
yeah,
or who you dating.
exactly.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Because at the end of the day, like even if I was straight, I wouldn't tell you who. Like that's not what you're gonna get based off of
you
first
not gonna get my
information. You know
business.
what
You
I
don't get my
mean?
business. Exactly. You
Exactly.
don't get my business.
So it's and that's kind of how like I treat stand up too. Is like I let them get. I was like, all right, we can address the elephant in the room, but I'm gonna
Right.
get to this first because I know what y'all are thinking,
Absolutely.
But
And
let
here's
me, yeah,
absolutely. Sometimes I say like, I'll be like, you know what? I'm not, and then I'll say, what did I say? I'm like, yo, I'm not actually as gay as I look. Like
that's
people think
sweet.
I'm hella gay, like this butch. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm not even that gay.
it's like
They
yeah.
like, you know, I got locks. I might dress like a Domin or whatever. Like, yo, really, baby? I'm a lady. Like the fuck. So it's like I'm
Right.
not even as gay as I appear to be.
Right, right.
So it's like
And
I don't know. I just love the fact that people have ideas, and then I'm
yeah.
like, nah, but you don't even know me for real.
That's
Never
what the
know me
same
for real.
that's the same way for me. I was like, you can assume a lot of things, but then
Right.
like you have to remember at the end of the day. I'm like, especially if I identify as a woman. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like
Hmm.
I know that like at the end of the day, you could see whatever and think whatever you want to think, but really it's the people who know me or the people that are aware of who I am. You know what I mean? Know
That part,
my
yeah.
type of personality. Because like I'm glad that there's these like this soft stud errors coming out in like
Hello.
stems and just like being able to identify with some stuff that you're like, yeah, I'm not one of them. Like I'm not about to like, I'm not that I say like studs sag their pants and all that, but I'm not like
Right.
I'm not gonna be. I understand when you see me and my partner like that. She's more feminine. You know what I mean? I
Right.
understand what you're looking at. I understand
Yeah.
what you are, but also I don't. My partner doesn't want this overly masculine, and I don't want to be this
person.
overly masculine
I
person.
don't want it.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
I'm a lady.
I'm okay. Exactly. My partner's a Cancer. I can't. She won't even allow me to be that hard. Are you a Cancer too?
I'm a
Dad,
Cancer.
I felt like I knew that. Yeah, Cancers are dope. But I'm a Capricorn, so it's like she brings out the softer.
Yeah, because y'all ain't got no emotions. Yeah,
You
Capricorn,
know.
man. Y'all,
We can't.
you probably think she weak. Like, you soft. Stop crying over there. You
She.
little weak.
That's the thing about that's the thing about Cancers is Cancers. You might see them cry, but they'll also smack you in the face like 2 seconds
We will,
later.
ayo, we will kirk on your ass. We cuss you. Ayo, we will, this crab, we gonna snap your ass.
I was like, because I like, and that's the first thing I said to her, was I was like, I like that you're in touch with your emotions, because it really does amaze me. And I like
I
people
hope it
in
helps
general.
you
It does.
get
It
into
helps
your emotions.
because that shows me, like, if I'm questioning, that means I got a problem, right? Like, what's wrong? Why I can't show emotion? You know, I don't want it. I'm like, that
Oh,
part's
I love a good cry.
yeah,
Oh my
I don't
God.
understand that. But that is dope. I like that, because sometimes
I
you
love a
behold,
good cry.
you know, that one hard cry. That's what like happens to Capricorns. Like, we do it in the dark. We have that one hard like snot cry, and you like,
Yo, if
see?
you ever want to cry, I will cry with you.
No, I don't.
Like, I
don't.
will find a reason to cry, baby. Like, you,
Oh my gosh,
yes.
oh my gosh, this is a
I
lot
need
right
you
now.
know, what's overdue for a cry? I'm gonna cry tomorrow.
You gonna cry
Probably.
tomorrow? Yeah, I was like, y'all are such water signs. It's amazing, but that's why I like. I really love. I think I really love just the water signs. Like, you guys are you're just so like
Thank you.
flow with the ocean.
you.
You know what I mean? Like, you guys are dope. Cancers are dope.
Yeah.
Also, I can get into zodiac signs all day, every day. But Cancers are cool, and Scorpios are cool. I like Scorpios. And do you have a water sign you just like don't? You said no.
No, I'm
Absolutely
good with
not.
all the Pisces. I'm cool with all of them. Me and
You're
water, we
cool.
do. We do. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I get along
cool.
with all the water signs. But yeah, don't be, I'm about to say, I'm not that type of lesbian. I don't know my rising and my, I don't know
Oh yeah,
the,
you did
the
say you were
stuff.
bad gay. Okay, so
I don't
I'm
know.
just kidding.
I'm gonna have to, I don't know all of those
That's
things.
good. That's crazy,
Okay,
because
good.
that's like LA is built around I've had a friend
Bruh.
like read out a roommate ad, and they're like, you have to be such and such rising and such sun. Have you seen that before?
No.
I thought that was an LA thing, or maybe that's
Listen, I'm not from here. I just live here and I stay away from them.
That's
I,
fair, because they're too deep in astrology. Like, they let it run, and I was like, you know that you have your sun, you know that, but just because, like, say I meet you as a Cancer, I meet another Cancer. Yes, there might be similarities in each, but they're not. They're people too, you know. So
thank
just
you.
like we
Yes.
were talking about the different layers of ourselves, that's how I see with zodiac, because you don't know how people grew up, you don't know what they healed from, you don't
Right.
know what
Right.
they have a habit of that might be known for Cancers or known for Capricorns that they don't do, you know. So it's always good,
Yeah.
get to know people, get to know. It's
Exactly.
like, see, we
The
get
first
out.
question is, what's your name? Second question is, what's your sign? Nope.
Right.
Nope. Not that.
But I mean, you do get that though, right? Like, have
Absolutely.
you've
Yeah.
gotten that before? Yeah, it's weird. It can be
Yeah.
weird, especially if you don't get into that world like that. Like, I blame co-star. I blame what's the other
Listen,
one?
I have CoStar and Pattern on my phone.
Okay,
They're my least used apps. I don't even open them joints, but they on there.
they on there.
They
Yeah,
on there.
I like looking up other people's every once in a while, but yeah, I don't believe in like just stereotype. I would say stereotyping somebody just based off their sign.
Let's kill the
Pe-
stereotypes. I'm down for
Yeah,
that. I'm down.
yeah. All right, let's see here. What else I want to talk about? All right, because I feel like we've been talking about
We done talked
all
about my
all my
socks.
questions, right? Your socks being covered at night in the
You
jeez.
know,
I am not over that yet. I'm gonna get over it though. I guess maybe like to elaborate a little more on it, but when has there been a moment where you felt fully seen, whether it's on stage or off stage? Because I know we were talking about before how you like being the token. In that way, but I'm saying like feeling fully seen by just like you feel like finally you're living like your full truth of like, and it's not. We have our identity and stuff like that, but just like career wise, like we're going after the things, and now you can see. You know what I mean? Like, have you had that moment? Are you still having that moment of just trying to feel seen a little bit more, or?
I've never. Let me answer this in a way that makes sense. I have had, I want to say honestly, like the privilege, I guess,
Yeah.
or the um I feel like every environment that I am in, I am seen in them.
Ooh, I love
So
that. Ooh,
I
I love
don't,
that.
maybe I'm not answering the question right, but like
Okay.
I've never had to have a battle
Okay.
or feel not seen in a room. Like even like I said, when I go to work, I'm in the studio, I feel like I show up as my full self all the time, every day. Some of my directors and producers are like, "Oh yeah, like we want to hear from your perspective. Like we want to hear like your thoughts." Like I'm in the room, we're making animation movies, and the director is like, "Yo, what do you think about this character or something?" Like they
Mm-hmm.
they want to hear from me, so
Yeah.
I don't ever
Yeah.
feel like I am not appreciated for who I am and how I show up.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and yes, I don't. It's a blessing, I would say, to always feel seen, comfortable. Not just like what's the saying they say? Don't go to a place where you're just what is the daggone quote people be saying? You are I don't know, whatever. But
Uh-huh.
like I just yeah, I have never not felt unseen, if
Gotcha.
that makes sense. Am I even answering this right? I don't know if this
No,
is
you
the
are. You no, you are. And you know what? I kind of like, a lot of times too, when people don't feel seen, I feel like that happens like internally, anyways. You know what I mean? I feel like it's an
okay.
internal thing that like maybe it's like the way they grew up or whatever like that. You know what I mean? But if you have had like just a supportive family, then you kind of know what that
Yeah,
looks like and you know how to keep that around and have that around. So whatever you decide to decisions you make, you have that support that you need. And I
support.
I do believe it's possible that yes, you feel seen wherever you go because you are you and you're the only Ebony Toliver that at least I know. You know, I'm just kidding.
There's some it's some Ebony Tollivers with two L's. I see some two L Tollivers.
Oh
I'm like,
wow.
who the not the two L's. But like for
Uh,
example, like so I'm thinking about
just
an example of
That's
being
funny.
seen like stand up related. So
Yeah.
you would think I don't know if you've had this experience too, as I so I'm doing a show, right? And it's like just no, not really a lot of black people. It's like a straight, it's an
Oh yeah.
LA show. It's date night, it's
Mm-hmm.
couples, it's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm, giving jokes about like dating women or whatever. And this guy in the front row, white man, white, just like regular, degular white guy, is cracking up laughing. Like he feels what I'm saying.
Yeah.
After the show, he was like, "Oh my God, my wife, she does the same stuff you were talking about." And like, so there's this level of being seen from people who probably didn't think we had anything in common.
Yeah.
Like this
Oh.
relatability
Mm.
about, yeah, we date
Yeah.
women. Women be tripping. So
Yeah.
the fact that me and this like 50-year-old white man are like seeing each other
Yeah.
is like, hey, bro, you
Yeah.
can't really beat that. And so, I do to go back to your point about being supported from my family and being seen and stuff is like, yeah, I've been, I've just had support in anything. If I was at Ebony, I'd be like, you know what, mom, I think tomorrow I want to jump rope professionally. Go ahead, girl, do them jumps. Like it's
See,
just like
yeah, it's
whatever you
that
want to
stuff that
do.
yeah, you just
Yeah,
do it, and that's why adults become successful is because they can hear that. Hey, well, go do it. You know what I
whatever
mean?
you want
It's
to do. Yeah,
like what is stopping you? You know, and no shade to any of the parents that weren't able to give that type of guidance because we
right.
can only do what we know and.
Absolutely.
In the past, like a lot of our parents don't have that type of, their mindset isn't there, so they can't give that to another
Exactly. Them
person.
have
You
the
know what I mean?
capacity. And that's why we got to see
Right.
our parents as not even our parents. They're their own people.
They're
Their
human.
inner child can still be, you know what I'm saying? So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I've
Oh
learned
yeah.
a lot now, my big age, about seeing my parents as people.
Absolutely.
And like,
They're
they
gonna
don't
make
know everything.
mistakes. No, no.
Exactly.
They're gonna
Yeah.
make
Go
mistakes. They're
ahead.
gonna continue to make mistakes. They handle it differently because they always know that they want to be seen as that parent that has it under control, but I love it when
Right.
parents are vulnerable with their kids and just kind of just saying like I can, like now as an adult I can have that one-on-one with my mom.
Yes.
But it that was something that you look back and you're like, wow, you really struggled like with at
You
certain
did.
moments, and I didn't necessarily, I'm too much of a kid to like really
To
understand or see
know
that
or see or
fully.
understand what you were going through. Exactly. Exactly. So
Yeah.
now as an adult with our parents' relationship, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
cool, but it's cool. It is. Parents gonna be parents. Parents don't understand. I'm just kidding. But I would just say though, like
Parents
you
just
gotta
don't
give.
understand.
Yeah, they don't. But you gotta give, just like humans, just like you give anybody else. You gotta give them that kind of grace to
100%.
just be all right, because they're
Give them
gonna get
that, give them that
older.
grace.
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna get older,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have to hear the same stories over and over every week. So just get used to it. Just sit comfortably on the phone and hear those stories. How do you stay creative while also navigating the demands of the production industry? Because that is very tough. Very tough. Because you said you're working on some shorts, and I don't know if you're writing also your own stuff or what, but like where do you get the
Yes.
space to even be able to separate the brains and like just be like, all right.
Girl, first of all, first question is, do you have the space and time for that? Not how, is do you got it? Cause nah. Um, like honestly, man, yeah, I try my best. Like I have I have I block time on my calendar. Like for example, say I go to the studio, animation brain, 9 to 6, right?
Yeah,
It's like that's my day. I'm in, whatever.
yeah,
And then I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna put an hour to writing. Right. That could be me writing some jokes. If I got a show I got to host soon, so I should probably have some material. It could
yeah,
be writing, like adding some, stuff. So got my final draft open. Like, okay, maybe I need to put some tap into this script or like tap. So there's definitely time that I create in my day to tap into all of the different things that I'm, working
yeah,
on. And some of the projects are collaborative. So it's like, oh, I'm, working on a short with somebody or this with them. So I'm like, okay, well, how do we find time in our lives to meet
right,
together? So I try to
yeah,
like, for example, today's a Saturday. It's like, okay, well, I'm gonna have a call tomorrow with somebody. So it's kind of like finding the time to do it, because at the end of
yeah,
the day, if I can't give I can't give DreamWorks all my time.
yeah,
I need to
yeah,
let's be honest, and like that also have to get, that's my, what I'm saying,
yeah,
that's my business. That's
yeah,
actually my business. That's my
yeah.
business. So it's like I have to give as much as I can into that.
Absolutely.
But like I think you mentioned before, like being a comedian and a producer are two different rates, two different things.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
over time, to be completely honest with you, let's be honest, I have done less Ebony the comedian and more Ebony the producer, because I know what it takes to be a comedian. I know the hours, the devotion that you need to give to it, and I would
right.
do it a disservice to try to be like this comedian when I know that I have a business to run in the production. So it's like,
Yes.
even if I produce a show, I'm giving the stage to everybody else. I might not even perform. This is still a LezBHonest production. You
Right.
ain't even seen Ebony on stage,
Right.
because
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna produce this show and everybody else is performing.
Yeah.
Don't even look to see me. I'm not comedian today, I'm producer today.
No,
And so
you.
because of,
Yeah.
yeah, so because of all the things that I do, sometimes I gotta find time. I gotta find the
Yeah.
time to do things. But I'm honest with myself to say, I ain't even funny. I ain't even funny today. I ain't got no jokes.
Yeah.
The show will go on without me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be producing in the background, and
Yeah.
I don't have the ego around it that I have to be
Mm-hmm.
the face of it all the time. So I was like, oh
Yeah.
my God, please let me actually. Can I not perform? Can I
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
somebody else do all of that? I ain't got it today.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And people think that, like, it's one of those things we have to detach from, like, comedians needing to always have the stage time all the time and stuff like that. Because, like you said, like, me either. I don't have to be the front of the face. Like, I like to
Yeah.
host, so I think that's the only reason why I've, like, done more than I even probably should at sometimes. Like I didn't even mind
Right.
like hiring people to like do it. 'Cause I'm just like, yeah, it's a lot of work. You got to keep the energy up to host. You got to or do like step aside from like all the stuff that you're trying to uh, look at while you're
Hmm.
producing and just keep track of while you're producing. And then you got to perform and do like some set. And people are gonna they're gonna want so much out of you. You know what I mean? If you're
Yes.
the one that's gonna be the face of Let's Be Honest performing. So I can only imagine, like, good thing you're honest with yourself and telling yourself, hey, I'm
Yeah.
gonna take a step back. It's okay
Can't
if
do it.
you do this. Yeah. Because that's a lot. That's a lot. And that's
Can't do it
kind of
all.
how, like, I took a step back from producing for a little bit because it was a lot to juggle. But you actually kind of, something that I learned a little more from you is that you were just saying, what did you just say? You said that you know what it takes to be a comedian. You know what I
Yes.
mean? You're like, okay, I know how much you got to
Yes.
put out there, but it's now this production world got so many things that you got to not. It's so big out there, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like in order to really truly commit, you got to take a step back from something. But also when people start to see you more as like a like producer or this and that, like, and they know you put on like some good shows and stuff, and they're like, wait, you do comedy too? Like, somehow people don't
Hmm.
always put the two. Do you ever get caught up in like get that from people where they're just like, no, you're the producer, you're not a comedian, or I know people know you as a
I
comedian,
mean,
but
honestly, it's been the
or
opposite.
does it
People
bother
are
you?
like,
Yeah.
it doesn't now. Like I would,
Okay.
you know what? It's like people. I think I don't even know if people think that I'm a producer. It's always a
Yeah.
comedian. Like you're a comedian,
Oh,
comedian,
nice,
comedian. I was like,
nice.
no,
Yeah.
bro, I'm running the whole goddamn ship. I sometimes I'm not a comedian,
Yeah.
and like,
Yeah.
cause I know what it takes. Like you know, a lot of comic comedians I know, and like
Hmm.
they're out every night doing mics, right?
Yeah.
And like, bro, I don't have that. I
No.
don't
No.
have the, not just the like. I have like a degree of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
got my time. I know what but it's like,
Yeah.
I know that because the doors have opened up for me from stand up,
Yeah.
but now I'm like, oh, now the door is open. Let's do
Yeah.
some, let's do
Hmm.
some short film. Let's write some scripts. Let's do, so it's like stand up was
Smart.
my way in the door. And now I'm like,
Yeah.
now I'm in production. I'm learning so, in my day to day, I'm learning so much about how to do big production, money, freaking
Yeah.
budgets, casting, schedules. So
Awesome.
I'm like,
Yeah.
hold up, bro. Let me take these and take all this information over here to like that, and let's do
Yeah.
our own projects because it's like
Yeah.
stand up was the way in,
Yep.
and now there's so many things that I want to do. I'm branching out, and so stand up is definitely taking a back seat. And
Yep.
I apologize every day
You don't
to
have
Ebony
to.
the comedian.
Cause you can
Like,
always, cause you
hey,
can, cause Ebony Comedian didn't go nowhere. Ebony Comedian is that you're
dinner.
using your creative, that creative spark somewhere else, and also like there are moments if I'm not thinking about write, cause you gotta write all the time, and like
Yeah.
when you're not really writing jokes like that, I like to open up a script, open up. I was like, I gotta
Mm-hmm.
create something. You're always gonna be Ebony the comedian because at the end of the day, like you don't just put that don't just like get thrown away unless you retire, like comedy and stuff. That's
Right.
different, but even then, it doesn't go away. You still got like sets, you got like video, there's footage out there of you doing like stand up, so it doesn't
Yeah.
really go away. I think there's that guilt of like, hey, I was supposed to
Thank you.
be
Yeah.
like, I
Because I be feeling
promised
guilty.
comedy this, yeah,
I be
but
feeling
you're,
guilty. Thank you for taking me off that. I can let
yeah,
that go.
you don't have to,
Release that.
my thing is, I love people who have multiple outlets. Like they don't just look at stand up. Because some comedians like they just do stand up, and honestly, like now stand up is shifting. Stand up is not like it used to. You have TikTokers, TikTok
Yeah.
influencers. You don't have long form jokes. People don't work on jokes no more. They just do these. Nobody has a punchline anymore. And I'm saying that based on being in all like in New York
Yeah.
City too. You know, it's changing. So now we have to in the next generation. We're gonna have to shift. All us old school folks, whatever. You did comedy a while ago. You better get your butt a TikTok or something because like honestly, there's
Yes.
like
Yes.
the crowds are even different now. You know what I
Oh
mean? And
yeah.
so
Oh my
like
gosh. Yeah.
so it's like that's the best part of probably what you're doing with still keeping that rawness of like what a comedy show should be like because there are a lot of people that are just revamping and trying to just cater to something different or just booking comedians that are old influencers that are you know what I mean? And I'm just like,
No, I
okay,
got the comedians that are strong comedians.
yeah, that are like
Like, yeah, I'm
they're
not
actually.
falling for the social media. You trying to? I see
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Nah,
and
nah.
it's cool if that's what they're doing, and they know comedy.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of times there could be some, and I'm not speaking about everybody, and this ain't about everybody, but I'm just saying that like there are comedians out there that just feel like just because you're funny on a little TikTok video that you could just do stand up, and that's just kind of like how it was when your friend told you, "Hey, you should do comedy." Well, guess what? You had to prepare yourself to get on stage. It hit different. You know what I mean? Same thing with TikTokers and influencers. It's gonna hit different when you
Yes.
get on stage. Like, but
Because
no,
just because they told me try it,
yeah.
I said, "Oh, I got to go learn though.
Right.
I
You're
got
like,
to go take some classes
yeah,
to
some.
really, you know what I'm saying?"
So because you want to be good at what you're gonna do. Like it's everything. So yeah, I definitely think that like Ebony the comedian is always gonna be there because there's gonna be a moment where you may just feel like that spark again. And my thing is, I love like always just having to set prepared. I don't care if it was something I did like 5-10 years ago. I don't care. I was like,
Bring it
I
back.
have that exactly. It's fresh. You guys forgot about it. Let's do it again.
Exactly. And
So
that
it's
and that's the power of me producing it's my show. I can
yeah.
do it if I want to.
You can literally get up there
Give
and do
myself
whatever
a
you
tight five
want.
somewhere,
Thank
or like,
you.
you know what? Forget this line. I'm headlining. Forget
Thank,
everything.
thank you. And what you're
I mean,
doing,
I would never, but
you could. You know what? That would be
I would
so
never.
funny. I always, what? There are so many producers out there that will headline themselves.
I would not do that. Absolutely not. Because I don't even first. And every time I book a show, I be like, I want to see the people perform. Y'all don't even want to see me because everybody on this lineup is better and funnier than me. That's the type
Yeah.
of show. I'm the weakest link on all my shows.
And that's kind of how it is. Like even if you tape in a half hour, like you almost got to. And no shade to the great comedians that have opened, but sometimes at least the style of the comedian has to be a little bit either lower energy or something different than what
Right.
people see because they can't be the one outshining the
The
main.
headliner, exactly, the main person. You came to see them and you out, bro. Yeah, no. But
Yeah,
I honestly, I book shows that are so fire,
yeah,
and I be like, oh, I've been looking up to them like one day.
yeah,
But
yeah. Seriously, and it's
no.
it's but it depends on like what your motive is behind doing that too, because it's like all right, if you just want to make it about you in the show, then all right, well do that, but if you want to give like other people opportunities, because trust me, I saw
Mhm.
that happen before. I saw a show where the producer headlined and they had this is different because the comedy clubs are different here. Well, I don't know if they're like that there, but they have like the little check spots, and this has happened to more than one show before. But they have the check spots. So after the headliner, the check spots came in, and the crowd was cutting up, and they were
Let's go.
mad, and I was just like. Number one, it did suck to have the check spots at that time.
Right.
That was kind of like it was already sabotaged before that person even got on the stage. But it was one of those where like, what did you expect to happen? Because like honestly, everybody on the show was amazing. You know what I mean?
Amazing.
And no shade to the headliner because the headliner they just had a different style and it wasn't and they were way more energetic comedians before them. And I was just like, you gotta really
Mm,
be wise when you do this, because
you gotta be smart
yeah,
about it. Come on, man. But
yeah,
yeah, nah, I ain't never gonna overtake my own show. Never,
yeah, yeah. But that's good. That's
never.
good. And also that just shows you as a person, like you're doing. This is bigger than you. You know what I mean? You're doing this for other people, and you're not just doing this. You're doing this for yourself, yes, because this is a desire, a drive. You manifested something that you had a vision, and you're like, let's do it. But you're doing this for other because you're creating platforms and taking up space for like those whether underrepresented. I don't always like using underrepresented because I was like black folks are represented. We just need to be
Hello,
more in the
more, yeah,
spotlight. Yeah,
like,
we need like y'all need to just pay attention more. But I know we were, and this is off script a little bit too. I know you said you played basketball, and
yeah.
the WNBA season is here. So, are you keeping up with the WNBA, or that might be a stupid question right now? Do you
No, I'm
keep up?
also a bad gay with that.
Okay.
So I no, I haven't had the time.
Okay.
Oh my, it's like no, I'm not gonna make an excuse. Because I've definitely been watching
Just
like the the Knicks and OKC and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm just like anything ball is I'm gonna watch it, but I have not yet sat down and like fully watched a WNBA game yet this season. It has
Okay.
just started.
It just started. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And they're just now getting like, they're
exactly.
rusty
I
and
got
like,
plans to go to some Sparks games
oh, dope. And
this
they're
season.
looking a lot
I'm
better
super
now.
excited
Yeah.
for the Mystics are looking good this year.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah. They're.
so to answer your question, not yet,
Mm-hmm.
but my WNBA is loading
Gotcha.
and I'm gonna be in there.
I
I'm being
like.
there.
I like. So,
Yeah.
and you played in college basketball too.
Played in college, D1 scholarship athlete,
Ooh.
all the things.
Wow.
But then
What was your position?
I ain't in the
Wait,
league no more.
you guard? You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, I was a point guard. I was a point
Point.
guard.
Ooh, point
Yeah.
guard. Okay.
Let me
Multitasking on the court.
let me tell you something though.
I can
I
see you as a point. You're actually built like a point guard, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? No.
because I'm about 5'6", because I'm like
No, no,
like
it has nothing to do with your height.
I'm small and fast.
No, no.
Like
Man, see, you saying this stuff. I'm not saying this stuff.
oh, okay, I'm built like a point guard. I don't know what that means, but yeah, I was a point guard.
I feel like point guards have just a certain figure. I sound horrible right now. I'm just gonna be real.
Are you
And
objectifying my
I
body?
no, I get that from someone I know very closely who works in the athletic world.
Got you.
College. So they said that they can see, like, they can tell if there's a like linebacker or something like that, and somehow I can tell, because like if you have, Natasha Cloud, and you also have, Jackie Young. I'm just thinking
You
of like the tone,
the tone of
you know
their
what I
body,
mean?
yeah,
Whereas like
yeah.
you don't have like the super 6'7", or you have
Nah.
like maybe even the short ones that are like there's a couple of them that are like 5'6", 5'4", or something like that, or whatever. Like not short, 5'6" is not short. It's
It's
average,
not short.
a good
Thank
average
you.
height. Yeah.
We out here. We out
But
here.
but yeah, so like that's what I mean by that. So not to insult your
I'm just
subjectify yourself.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah.
I definitely played like basketball since I was like 5 years old. And back in those
So,
days, they're like boys and girls club, but there were
oh,
no girls on the team. So like when I started out at 5,
oh,
I was the only girl on the team.
wow. See, this is the best part to like sum up this podcast, because we started talking about how like we're not started talking about, we're talking about how like comedy had that stand-up comedy. You were like the only person, and that's something that like you were almost used to. That's why you feel
Oh,
so, I feel like you feel so seen. I listen. I'm a good interviewer.
you be
Let me
listening.
take over Jennifer Hudson's spot. Like,
Let's do it. Take over Sherry Shepherd, all them joints.
Oh
Get
shit!
them
Oh
out of
shit!
here.
They all going down. Let's pull up.
Get them out of here. It's glow in the city
Get
time.
out of here! Get out of here!
Get them out of here.
But yeah, so that's why I go back to that, because you actually have like a history of like when you step in the room, you just in the room. It's Ebony in there and everybody else. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you never felt intimidated in spaces where it was just you. So that's why.
That's all I know.
That's crazy.
That's all I
Let
know.
me find out I'm a therapist
Yeah.
or some shit. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not.
Hey,
But
you should get your hourly rate. Get your hourly rate.
There you go. There you go. No, but that's pretty cool. I think that's a great way to sum up this episode, because I think that one thing that I like to see, this is one of those podcasts where like you unravel like undefining things in a way, and how you define them now, and where you're redefining the podcast called Undefining, but we redefine a lot of things, really. That's how you say it. But I love that, and I love that like you walked me through that like path of like just your experience career wise and personally. So we touched all the good points today that we
Who knew he was going to have this call back to,
You said what?
who knew it was going to be a whole full circle moment?
Yeah, always.
It's like,
always.
yeah, I've always just been the only one there.
Yeah. And the fact that like it actually helped you to just step out and just don't ask questions. You just go, you lead by faith,
Just
your
go.
heart, your passion, and you're not going to ask questions. Like if we mess up, we're going to mess up. That's how, when you start with anything, you're going to mess up. Things are not going to look cute in the beginning, but guess what? There are many people paying attention. I love the whole vote like a black women movement that you had going on, before, during like the election and stuff, and still continue
Yeah,
that needs to continue. You know, those
it's
t-shirts
still
are
here. I got shirts. Anybody want a shirt?
yeah. Get you a shirt because I really do think that that was something that it was catchy, and then also you knew how to, and I don't want to use capitalize, but you knew how to really like just let because it came from a place, a personal space. No, not just some
Yeah,
white guy can just say, "Hey, like vote like a black." It would have hit different. You'd be like, "All right, dude, you're just trying to. We don't want to buy from you. You know what I mean?
we
But
not
you're
buying from
going,
you, baby. We buying
but
black. Get out of here.
exactly.
Get
But
out of here.
you took that and you had like all this experience. So that's what I'm saying. You inspired me tremendously. Like it doesn't matter if you started in like 2014, 2000, 1995. I don't care what it is. You don't know how many people can really you can learn something because they're
Right.
experiencing life so much different, you know. And now
Yeah.
I'm even starting to juggle that, you know, trying to figure out like, all right, what are we doing next, what are we building, what are we, you know, and stuff without driving yourself crazy. But thank you so
Yeah.
much. And what I want to do is
Thank
just
you.
I want to ask this one question is what would you say, what advice would you give your 5-year-old self? Like what would you say to the imaginary friend Ebony? uh, what would you say to you? What advice? What is just something that you say like? And I know that like there's a lot of because there's a lot of things that make like from your shyness or whatever like that. But like, what is it? Would you say to
Hmm.
yourself? Like what?
Wow. What would
This is
I
deep.
say to little Ebby? Little Ebby. What would I say to her? Am I talking? Hold on, real quick. Am I
Yeah.
talking to her as a 5-year-old, or I'm saying this is what am I saying? What's the question?
Like
I had to just start over.
it's basically the future you giving advice to that person. So say like you're 5 or 10 years old, and you know I don't know if there's like a period in like when you're young and you're just innocent and you're
Oh,
just in your
okay, I
kid
got you.
world and
Okay,
you're
I
just
got you.
shy and you don't like people just know you as you know like what advice would you just give to yourself? Because now you're a comedian. Now you're
Got you.
like you got an LLC. You got like you're a
You
business
stupid
owner.
as hell.
Like you're an entrepreneur, right? So what would you say to yourself?
What I would say to my 5-year-old self is you are not your mistakes.
Ooh, ooh,
So, like, I would say, yeah, of course, you're going to mess up and you might make a mistake or something doesn't go right, but that does not define you. A blip in time that you
yeah,
might have experienced or had, that does not define who you are.
true.
Mistakes happen, and you just got to forgive yourself, and everything's okay.
Yeah, yeah, that is perfect. Because that's one thing
Yeah,
that that's one of those things that we have to grow and learn about and like learn how to, you know, be like, hey, you know, you don't have to be. It's okay. You know what I mean?
it's okay. It's okay.
You're gonna fall. You're gonna make a lot of
You're gonna
mistakes.
make mistakes, and just like don't like judge yourself from like a low point that you had. Like
Yeah.
a blip, a low moment, and not your best self does not define who you are. So like
Yes.
mistakes gonna happen, but you're gonna be all right, baby.
Yes, yes, yes. And
Hell
me
yeah.
replying as little Abby, oh, thank you so much. I love it. Have a great adult life. Sorry. That was stupid. Oh my God. I'm
I
just
loved
kidding.
it. It was sweet. It was sweet and genuine. That's how I
think,
sound when I was 5.
I think it was. It was. I was like the voice came in my body, and I'm a medium. No, I'm just kidding.
Go
All right,
off.
so I have
Go
a
off.
fun game before we go away, and I'm sad that this is coming to an end, but we had a lot of fun today.
I
Um,
did. I
but
did.
yeah, you enjoyed it.
It's a
So we're
good
gonna play.
time. Thank you, Glow, for having me, man. This
Of
is fun.
course, the world needs to see you. Like the world is here. If y'all, the world, when you do hear this podcast, no, it's cool. But
Everybody
no,
share it and give it to a friend so the world can see Glow and everything. Come on. They know what to
exactly,
do.
exactly. They'll catch on to it. They'll catch on to it. But no, it's cool. It's been cool, and I definitely. It's always important to me to have like people that are like. There's a variety of people that come on the show, but it's always important for people to be able to hear everyone's perspective. A lot of like just different avenues and whatever you're doing. But we've worked together before, so that's why it
Yeah.
makes it so unique. But yeah, it's always listen to all these episodes and just like find your niche because a lot of times like a lot of people are creators in their own way. They just need to hear some different experiences because people think that we just decided to write like script like this is all based off of a script or we just knew
Nah,
automatically and we don't we're literally
we don't know.
figuring
We
this
don't
out as we
know.
go. Right.
Exactly.
So this game is called Like That or Nah. So it's a quick one word or short answers, either like that if it resonates or not if it doesn't. All right. So I'm just
Gotcha.
gonna say and we actually just it's creepy because we started talking about this right away about being an early bird, but waking up before 8 a.m. like that or nah?
Nah.
Okay. So y'all don't wake Ebony up before 8 a.m. or at 8 a.m. at that. Performing without prepping. Ooh, that's risky.
Risky, but you know that job like that.
Yeah, yeah, it is because it gives you that adrenaline rush, right? That you need.
Yeah, it just yeah.
Yeah, last minute genius ideas. Ooh, those are almost the best.
That's like that.
Sorry, I almost probably try to persuade you.
You giving me the answers.
You need to say no. There's no right or wrong answer to this. It's how you feel. You got this is for
Nah.
everybody to know you a little bit better off script.
Gotcha.
Let's see here. Group chats with 10+ people.
Nah.
Stop that shit. Sorry.
Don't put me in no group chat. I don't even like a group chat. Don't put me in it.
I hate that. It's always the people with the Android. All right, so notes app full of jokes.
Like that.
Yeah,
That's like that.
That's a given because your ideas go while you walk, while you just
Voice memos too.
Yeah. Ooh, actually, I haven't even got. You know what? I don't like listening to myself like that. It's creepy, but
This joint got a whole podcast. I want to hear herself. What the?
Yeah, you don't know how hard it is. It's not that hard. No, not like it's crazy because I have to edit this a million times before I put it out. But yeah, I it's one of those I don't trust me.
She got a whole podcast. Don't want to hear her voice. Crazy.
I fast forward my part all the time.
Crazy.
I needed to hear that, Ebony. Thank you. I needed to hear that.
I got you.
All right, networking at parties. Ooh.
Nah.
It's weird, right?
Nah.
And I say that if you've been a regular person in your life, because I know when you get into comedy world, people just think that people are just gonna be promoting their shows, and I've seen that before, and I hate that. I'm like,
Yeah.
can you just enjoy?
Can I just be at the party and not at work?
Thank you.
Nah, don't do that. Nah.
Rest as resistance.
Like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
TikTok as therapy.
Nah.
Do you have it? You have it. We're gonna get into your social handles if you do.
I go to my real therapy for therapy. I don't use I use social media wrong anyway. I don't even do it right.
You can't even.
But nah.
There is no right way. Trust me. People are just if you have the energy to be on. I was like, if I wasn't a performer or anything related to art creative, I would not be on. I would not have it online. I would not have anything at all.
Exactly. This is a what's it called? Necessary evil. Necessary evil for the business.
Yes. Okay, two more. Saying yes before you're ready. Have you done
Nah.
that before? Yeah.
Nah. First of all, my favorite word is no.
Oh, so, good for you.
My favorite word is no. You always get a slow. I don't say yes to anything, baby.
It's good to say if it's something let me check my calendar or let me see, or usually I go if I'm able to make it. I say that, but I'll let you know if I'm able to make it, and I'll let people know in advance, but I don't say no.
I just say no, and then I surprise them when I show up.
I love that. You're like, hey, that is so crazy. Why would you do that?
Say no. They have no expectation, and then you show up like she could make it.
You risking not having a plate, not having no water, no nothing. What if they bought some stuff?
Listen, I'm gonna say no first.
That is hilarious. That is crazy. That is so. I've never. It's not crazy, but I would just put it this way. That's actually a genius move. But
yeah.
But all right, last one. Quiet weekends with no plans. Oh my gosh.
Hell yeah, that's like that as hell. Yes.
I like how I like that. That is life. That is hell. I like you use that.
That's like that as hell. That's like that.
I like that as hell. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Ebony. So that pretty much wraps up the show. Where can people find you? What do you have coming up?
Because I got a show like that has a Pride show Friday, June 13th.
Okay.
So you can catch Like That Productions in Santa Monica. If you're in LA, come to the Like That Productions Pride Comedy Show. And then if you want to follow me personally, Ebony Not Essence. But I would say follow Ebony Not Essence and follow Like That too. Like That Productions. Follow all the pages. Tag them up. I don't know.
And Ebony, thank you so much for being here today and just having this conversation. I had a lot of fun. I hope you had fun.
So much fun. Good to see you, though. Thank you for inviting me to be on this. This is a ball.
Of course, of course. My pleasure. Right. Shout out to Ebony for that wonderful conversation. Thank you for sharing your story, your hustle, and your humor. You are truly building something like that, and it's so powerful to witness. For everyone listening, make sure you follow Ebony and support Like That Productions and the Let's Be Honest movement. And thank you for tuning into Undefining, where we explore the stories, identities, and creative paths that refuse to fit the mold. If this podcast moved you, made you laugh, or gave you something to think about, don't forget to follow and subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube at Undefining the Pod. You can also follow us on Instagram at Undefining Podcast. If you'd like to support the show directly, visit buymeacoffee.com/Undefining Pod. Every bit helps. Keep these conversations going. Thanks again for being here, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye. Undefining.